I would like to start the first theme by calling upon Sanwaria Nagar. So please introduce yourself and start off the discussion.
Good evening, everyone, one and all present here. I am Sanwaria Nagar of grade 11 in Pallavan School, Jhalawar. Jhalawar is located in the state of Rajasthan in India. Today, I am going to speak on the topic learning how to learn. This topic holds a special significance for me as the student of Pallavan School, as the philosophy of our school is based on learning or learning to learn, or Aao Seekhna Seekhein in Hindi, where the emphasis is on the process of learning rather than just on the content of learning. I joined the Pallavan school in the year 2011 when I was in class 2nd. Before joining Pallavan, I was in a government school in my village, which is 30 kilometers apart from Jhalawar. Pallavan school was set up with a philosophy to provide better education in the rural ambience of Jhalawar, which is a small town even today. The difference I observed between my previous school and the Pallavan is a way of learning, where the focus is on the process of learning, while the previous school was on the rote learning system. Coming to the topic, first of all, we should understand the meaning of the phrase learning how to learn. This may have three distinct meanings. How to become a better learner. How to become a better learner. Second one is how to conduct inquiry and construct knowledge in certain disciplines and fields. And the third is then how to become a self-directed learner. Now, as we know that the content is becoming obsolete at rapid pace, therefore, if we can identify how we can learn and why we are learning, we will be at the much better position to assimilate the new knowledge in constantly changing environment, and we will be able to use the knowledge appropriately, and at different places we can use our knowledge. As we know that the teachers, gurus, and there are many technologies and books are the good resources for getting knowledge, and we can learn very much from that, but we should be able to learn from ourselves by looking within. We need to make our own experience the basis of learning so that we are constantly on the learning mode. In the olden times, there were gurukuls, where a single teacher, that is guru, taught the sishyas about the different vidyas, but those gurukuls have been transformed into schools, and these are specialized for each and every discipline. There are different teachers and specialized teachers for each and every subject or discipline. Let us understand the importance of learning to learn by taking an example. Give a man a fish. You can feed him for only a day, but if you teach that man how to fish, then you will feed him for a lifetime. This is the message that I want to convey to you, that this saying emphasizes that the teacher should make the learner a self-learner instead of a rote learner, making a self-understandable learner. As learning is a lifelong and unending process till the death, we should understand the real process of learning. We should understand what is the real meaning of learning. So at every phase of life, we can learn, we can understand new things. So at last, I want to say that our focus is on the learning process, not on the rote learning. Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much, Sanwaria. So as Sanwaria mentioned, we have to learn how to learn in this dynamically changing environment before whatever we learn becomes obsolete, and therefore we should be great learners, passionate ones. So next, I would like to call Anushri Chakraborty to share on learning how to learn.
Thank you, Nendra. Good evening to everyone present here. I am Anushree Chakraborty, a ninth grader from SFX Green Herald International School of Dhaka, Bangladesh, and today I am delighted to be speaking about my Learning How to Learn venture. Learning starts from birth. Until we die, we may not have learned everything. The word learning and its methods are debatable topics. However, it is more concerning to learn learning, that is to realize how to make learning easy, efficient, and desirable. Personally, a more hands-on practical education seems to be a better option for me because we get to learn not only the theory, but also how to apply it in our real life and how it is in the world around us. In my school, our teachers have always seen to the need that we can relate our studies to real life, from giving real life examples to making arrangements so that we can see bookish knowledge in our real life. Our teachers have done all possible. Even in art class in pre-lockdown situations, we would venture out in the fields of our schools and learn about curiosity and observation. Another interesting method our school has applied is that in the campus, there is a huge three-dimensional map of Bangladesh, situated in a place where it attracts maximum attention. Without us noticing, our daily viewing of that map made us memorize important locations of Bangladesh very easily, which greatly helped us in our history subject. Furthermore, science experiments and computer labs made the subject more interesting as did various environment, science and language clubs closely supervised and guided by our teachers. So it is evident that our schools play a huge role in influencing how we learn. While practical experiences make learning more easy and interesting, tackling content-based learning for exams is also an issue and is the role of a student himself or herself.
Excuse me,
Finding the correct,
Susanna. Could you
finding
just
the
speak
correct
slightly slower so that our audience can hear you properly? Thank you.
Thank you. Finding the correct learning method for content-based learning proved to be difficult because it took a long time to realize what was the best one for me. However, here are some things I learned through trial and error. Preparing for any test is a stressful matter. So proper sleep, proper meals, exercise, etc. are extremely necessary. To learn anything quickly, to prefer to reading it aloud and writing it down, diagrams and mnemonics are useful at ease. In addition to that, apps or videos on the internet with colorful graphics and beautiful diagrams go a long way and make us understand the topic better. But as I said, moving away from content-based learning processes and focusing more on practical or indirect methods make the learning options best for me and for many others I have seen. This lockdown has made a very good experience for us because it made practical learning more possible. It gave us time to fulfill those tasks which we couldn't do because of a time limit before. This lockdown has proved to us that we can move away from theory and learn more through experiences in our real life. Like in my case, I learned how to bake and I related it with what I learned in biology classes, making it more fun and understandable. Now in ninth grade, after almost 10 years of being a student, I have finally developed my own studying methods, but I still continue learning how to learn since learning needs and environment continue to change. In this aspect, my parents play a huge role in supporting me and helping me whenever I need it. Thus, learning how to learn is not a self journey. It is a joint venture involving school, teachers, parents, and the student himself or herself. It is a journey requiring patience, skills, and perseverance, since learning, in all its senses, keeps changing as the earth keeps evolving. At least that's what I have learned. Thank you everyone for listening to me. I hope my speech was useful to some people present today.
Thank you very much, Anushree. So as Anushree mentioned, so we have to relate our studies to real life, because if what we study is not practical, then what is the use of studying? And as Anushree mentioned, we learn a lot from practical experiences instead of just learning theory and content. So next, I would like to call Barami Punyabuka to talk about learning how to learn.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Barami Punyabukana. I'm currently studying in grade 10 at Panyapratip School in Thailand, and I'm here to talk about the phrase learning how to learn. I'd actually like to begin with something that happened to me recently. I was very nervous about speaking here at this webinar. I was shaking and crying. Well, not really crying, but I was very nervous. So I thought to myself, how do I get rid of my nerves? And that's where the Four Noble Truths come in. First of all, my school is not focused on the only more academic side of learning, but they also focus on teaching us life skills, which are the fundamentals for every stage of learning. And the Four Noble Truths are some of them. So what are the Four Noble Truths, you may ask? The Four Noble Truths are a Buddhist teaching that help you solve problems in a creative and innovative way, or a more religious term for design thinking. It consists of 4 steps. The first is to identify the pain point, or in Thai we call it tuk. For example, the problem for me is that I'm very nervous every time I have to speak publicly, or in this case, speaking in front of a big virtual crowd, which leads to the second step, samutai, or finding what causes the problem, or the Voldemort to your Harry Potter, if that metaphor makes sense. In my case, it's my lack of self-confidence and a good script. After worrying about all of this, you might want to bail or drop out because the problem is too big or too hard to solve. That's when the third step comes in, nirod, or what's the vision of your success? What would it look like if this problem didn't exist? This really helps you to get your hopes up when you don't really have a clue of what's going on. In my case, it's a flawless delivery of a speech that could hopefully change somebody's way of thinking. Once you're up and running again, it's time to execute the last step of your plan, which is muck, or questioning how to reach the vision. How would you achieve this goal? How would you bring this idea to life? For me, it's repetition. Practicing a lot with my friends and teachers helped me get rid of my fear of public speaking and boosted my self-confidence. These 4 steps can be applied to anything in your life, from problems about studying to just life in general. Lastly, I think being familiar with this way of thinking makes it faster for you to adapt to new ways of learning, and being able to solve problems make it easier for you to study on different platforms, because no matter what medium you're studying on, you'll still be able to manage yourself and not panic when a problem occurs. That's why for me, shifting focus from the content that you're studying to how you're studying it, or learning how to learn, is a very crucial aspect of studying in today's climate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barami. I think that Barami has shared a very crucial fundamental life skill which we can use. And he mentioned we can find a point of conflict, we can search for the cause of that conflict, and then look for a vision for success, and question how we can achieve that success. And I think that this is very practical knowledge that Barami has given us.